radical Islam that seems to be taking over. I mean, what is their problem? I don't understand it.
All right. This is important, and you know, your audience is a pretty smart crowd over there. There's a twofold reason for this. And if you don't understand the why, you know, the why matters, folks. No, the whole thing, this is a useless conversation. You got to understand the why. The Obama administration will not say radical Islam for two reasons. Number one, the terrorism issue does not work for him politically, and Barack Obama is a political person first. Everything else is a distant second, if there at all. He cares purely about politics and tactics. The terrorism issue does not work for him anymore because the Democratic Party is not serious about it. Secondly, they practice division politics. It's all they have, Alex. They don't run campaign signs, vote Barack Obama, vote for a tax hike, vote for the worst recovery from a recession in modern American history, vote for Obamacare so your costs go up and you lose your doctor. That's not their campaign.
They can't say vote for 4 more years of the giant screw job.
No, they can't. So what do? They get you to vote against the other guy. The exit polls are conclusive on this. Romney beat him in every single category except the one category that mattered. Who cares more about people like you? The left is not stupid. The way they get you to
So how do we counter identity politics? How do we counter it? Because listen, I know the police aren't perfect. I criticize bad departments and bad people, but it's not, I mean, 1,000 people get killed a year by the cops. They admit 90+% of that's legitimate. Maybe it's 100+ innocent people killed a year out of 330 million. That's not our biggest issue. George Soros finances all over the place, overthrow of governments on an anti-police agenda. Ukraine, other countries, they've actually done it. Egypt was done. Now they're doing that here with hundreds of millions being spent. I know you have your ear to the ground on this, on a true war on police, to blame police for everything. So they stand down. There's crime waves. Then federal control comes in. But I really see it waking the police up, though, to this whole globalist agenda. But what's the inside baseball? Dan Bongino, former senior Secret Service agent, former New York cop. I mean, what's going on with the war on police? Because you talk about a whole divide and conquer strategy. What is that crazy strategy?
Yeah, this is another. The left, they have this interesting issue with authority. They love authority everywhere else, but when it actually matters, right? They'll regulate the stream in your backyard, literally through the waters of the United States rule. I'm not making that up.
Oh yeah, they can arrest you if you dig a cow pond on your own property.
Yes. I mean, look at the Gibson Guitar Factory from importing a form of wood that didn't meet with this ridiculous act nobody pays attention to. But yet you impose a very basic regulation on a Texas abortion clinic. Like, hey, I got this idea that if you're going to do an abortion and the woman may die, the abortion doctor should at least be able to have admitting privileges to a hospital. No. We don't want that. The war against police is an issue that appeals to a far-left radical wing that motivates them to go out to the polls. Alex, it's no more complicated than that. I would love to give you a fancy explanation ideologically.
But I mean, take Chicago. The Democrats run it. It's got problems, but since they have blamed the police for everything and done all this, now the crime rate's doubled and tripled. Everything's collapsing. I mean, don't they understand that that's what they're causing?
Of course they understand. You know, what's the famous quote about liberalism? It cares about the world in theory. It's the real world that has a problem with. Alex, these people don't give a hoot about results. Their agenda has always been control.
Fantasyland.
Yes, when you get that through your head, all of this makes sense. It's not about economic growth. It's about economic control through heavy taxation and regulations that dictate the market for the left. The same thing about Obamacare. This isn't a failure. This is a resounding success for them.
Bongino.com. Dan, I want to talk some about your book. I want to talk about Trump, the few minutes we have left, and everything else that's happening. But getting back to the whole destabilization program, I mean, I get it. They want to destabilize because they get funding out of the crisis, they get control, they get deposed as saviors, and change the subject from all their other failure. But at a certain point, the chickens have to come home to roost. You worked for many years inside the Obama administration, inside others as well. Know the dynamic between the Clintons and the Obamas and these different power structures in the Democratic Party. Your best understanding of it. Are they one big team? Is there two different sides? Do you think Hillary's invincible? What's the word? I mean, can she do anything? Will she ever get indicted?
I think she will get indicted. I think that's going to happen. I got some pretty good context on this too. But no, they're not buddies in the traditional sense. The Obama team and the Clinton team are definitely allies when they need to be, but Bill Clinton has a big ego, and he doesn't like the fact that Barack Obama has taken the mantle of the far left and become their new hero. So they're definitely not friends in that sense, but they are allies when they need to be to advance an agenda. And that agenda right now is getting Hillary Clinton in the White House to continue the 7+ disastrous years of Obama. Hey, one quick thing on this. I can show this to you pretty clearly. Bill Clinton, when he spoke for Barack Obama at the convention on his reelection effort, he didn't want to do that. There was a deal cut for that. They had to cut some kind of a deal. And the deal, I think, I didn't hear it with my own ears, but it was reported in a couple different places. The deal was that, Barack Obama would support Hillary Clinton later on. So they're not friends in the traditional sense. They're allies when they need to be.
Well, I hope you're right, because justice needs it. I know a lot of cynical conservatives that go, oh, let Hillary get in, we'll make even more money and have bigger audiences. I could care less about that. I mean, she might completely destroy the country. I don't care if Trump gets in and things get a little bit better and our audience isn't as big. Great. I mean, this isn't about, I'm not them. I don't want a big crisis so I can be the savior. I want to not, have the whole society collapse. But I got to tell you, watching Lynch in this earlier Aspen Institute thing that just ended about 2 hours ago, I don't know if you've seen it, but she just says, oh, I'm not recusing myself because I'm going to take control of the investigation and we're going to decide what to do with the FBI's findings. She actually said that.
Yeah, I mean, totally unsurprising. Again, when you're a far leftist and control is your agenda in the end, you don't really care about what the public perception is. But she has power. She's not going to go anywhere. Totally unsurprising.
Sure, but if Nixon's attorney general said, I'm going to decide, I mean, that'd have been the end right there. That is arrogant.
Yeah, well, that's because, conservatives, there were people like, Larry Hogan in Congress at the time who were Republicans who stopped Nixon. But, where were the liberals stopping Obama? The answer is nowhere.
I tell you, it's so incredible. Well, in closing then, talk about usually you don't give us stuff that's with sources and you get blamed for doing that, but you're saying you have pretty good sources. Please elaborate, Mr. Bongino, former Secret Service agent, high level, the good news that you think things are going towards indictment.
Yeah, I do. I've got a couple of friends here that that have some decent information on this, and I think the indictment is going to happen. What I'm hearing is the career investigators who are working on this have kind of set an ultimatum, a de facto ultimatum that, hey, listen, here's the deal. This is an open and shut case. You have to run with this. This is it's clear as day. It's black and white. The elements of the crime necessary for prosecution are there. So I'm hearing they're going to recommend indictment. And Lynch said today, I think, to take the heat off her, which I think you saw this morning, that she's going to go with whatever the recommendation is. So she's not going to be able to run from that. I think Hillary.
Well, that's what the press said. Because I've played the clip, and I'm going to play it when we come back from break. But no, you have to go. If you can stay, I'll play it for you. But the point is, she sits there and she says, "I'm going to take the recommendation, but then I'm going to have senior Justice Department people review it and look at it and see if it's right and whether we're going to go forward." So that to me says she's not.
Yeah, there's always a caveat with the left. I know we got to stay on top of them, but I think there would. What the problem is, Alex, is there's people like me out there who aren't going to take it anymore, who are just going to go public. And
well, exactly. So isn't that the Trump card or the ace in the hole? Is that senior FBI agents and others have said we're just going to leak the case?
Yeah, because the media doesn't own the information environment anymore, Alex. You got your show, you got social media, you got podcasting, Twitter, Facebook. It's not up to Walter Cronkite anymore to make the story go away. I mean, it's just not going to go anywhere.
Sure.
These FBI guys, they'll be on your show 2 weeks after that decision is made not to indict one of them. I mean, that's the way it works now, which is good, which is disaggregating. Sure,
and I never kissed Sean Hannity's butt. He's actually done some bad stuff to me years ago, but I know for a fact from inside Fox, he's been threatening things with the stuff he's doing and hasn't rolled over. And even the guys like that are willing to buck stuff. I mean, the establishment's got to know that America's not putting up with this anymore. Bongino.com. Glad to hear you doing a radio show. Folks can find your book there. Dan, thank you so much for the time. Look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Talk to you soon.
Oh, that's a great guy right there. Has a lot of courage. Believe me, they really keep a close hold on those folks. We got big news coming up after the break. Big news dealing with COG, continuity of government, stuff like martial law.
You fully expect to accept the recommendations. One thing people were saying this morning when the news broke was that you were, quote, recusing yourself from having any kind of role in the final determination. Is that the case? Is that what you're saying?
Well, a recusal would mean that I wouldn't even be briefed on what the findings were or what the actions going forward would be. And while I don't have a role in those findings, in coming up with those findings or making those recommendations as to how to go forward, I'll be briefed on it, and I will be accepting their recommendations.
And when you say, again, this must be the journalist in me and the linguist in me, accepting to me means, here, Madam Attorney General, here are our findings, and you completely accept them wholeheartedly and then issue them to the public, or you accept them, look them over, and then make your own determination as to what the final determination will be?
No, the final determination as to how to proceed will be contained within the recommendations and the report in whatever format the team puts it together. That has not been resolved, whatever report they provide to me. There will be a review of their investigation. There will be a review of what they have found and determined to have happened and occurred, and there'll be their determinations as to how they feel that the case should proceed.
And when you say there will be a review, you mean the review will be done by you once you accept the recommendations and determinations, or
Well,
you're talking about the process of the review?
I'm talking about the initial process of how this case will be resolved. This case will be resolved by the team that's been working on it from the beginning. Supervisors always review matters. In this case, that review will be career people in the Department of Justice. And also the FBI will review it up to and including the FBI director. And that will be the finalization of not just the factual findings, but the next steps in this matter.
And I find it interesting, several times now you've made a point of saying career prosecutors, career officials within the Justice Department. Why are you making that very hard distinction, that description?
I think a lot of the questions that I've gotten over the past several months, frankly, about my role in this investigation and what it would likely be was a question or a concern about whether someone who was a political appointee would be involved in deciding how to investigate a matter.
They're all
what
political
something
appointees.
meant, or how should the case proceed going
that's
forward.
Enough. Dr. Group's riding shotgun with us a little bit in the next hour. He wanted to come in because he's got a lot of really interesting military sources from the Global Healing Center over the years, helping veterans. He himself is an Army veteran. And he was telling me on the phone a few days ago about some of the stuff we want to talk about. And I said, yeah, Doc, we've got like all these executive orders. We've got the admission that they're preparing emergency camps for, quote, re-education. That is a Soviet term. That's in the Army manual for resettlement operations. That was in 2010, declassified 2013. I mean, this isn't us making this up. This is Army.mil. You cannot make this stuff up. And so he was talking to his Fort Bragg folks, and we're not going to even get into who, and they were saying, no, we are getting ready for EBT shutdowns. We're getting ready. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but they've never really done this. If you want to look at that document, it's FM 3-39.40. And they are gearing up for basically societal collapse. Well, look at what's already happening in Europe. Look at the FEMA report we covered on Monday, 395% food price increases. By the way, it's in the middle of Rob Dew's report he did that we never aired that's so important, where it actually has the FEMA officials saying, we believe this scenario is going to happen. Because some people are saying, oh, well, the article out of Vice didn't say they thought it was going to happen. Yeah, I actually went to the report, okay, when I shot a video. That's what we show there. Okay, I don't want this stuff to happen. I'm not even saying it's going to happen. They say they believe this is a real problem they face. So we have the clips in the report Rob Dew did on this. So then he got into the fact that he wanted to talk about how the military also said, yeah, we're training to basically take on zombies. And then every time we say that, I told people like 2 years before it was mainstream news, they don't get the Army and the Marines to train to just mow down or say the security services there's the document, unclassified. We don't just sit there and just say this stuff, okay? We don't mean literal undead. But the way you dehumanize people that haven't eaten in 10 days, because they don't act like humans, is they call them zombies. There's Pentagon documents lays out battle plan against zombies. And they make a joke, because see, it was freaking the troops out when people are wearing John Deere hats and begging for food and dressed like Americans. So they said, okay, we're going to practice mowing people down now you know, the laser tag buzzers that have got green skin. That way it's not racial. That way it's all a big joke, but it's for mowing down crowds of people, okay? Business Insider. If you're a radio listener, I just put that on screen. Because I know I come on air